can choose to make the project private if I only want certain individuals to be able to access this project. So I'll keep it private for now. One of the great things about Asana is it supports different types of project view. So we have, as you can see here, traditional list view, where I can see my tasks and I can see various custom fields and assignees and dates. There's also a board left. We only want certain individuals to be able to access this project. So I'll keep it private for now. One of the great things about Asana is it supports different types of project view. So we have, as you can see here, this traditional list view, where I can see my tasks and I can see various custom fields and assignees and dates. There's also a board layout, which is sort of this Kanban style of working where you can move tasks through various stages. This is great for projects that follow a particular workflow. There's a timeline view. If you're a very visual person, if you want to see when tasks start and finish, if you want to see the dependencies of tasks, the timeline view is great. And I find that this view works really well, especially for projects where you're working backwards from an important deadline like an event or in this case maybe a new product launch. And then finally there is the monthly calendar view where you can see tasks due on particular days. It doesn't really matter what you choose because you can change the view later. If you're not sure, I just recommend starting with the list. I'm going to start adding tasks to my project, and so we're going to go to my project now. Before I start inputting any tasks, I'm actually going to go to the overview section first. And on this page I can write a bit of a summary of the project and insert some key resources and things. So I can put in here maybe project description and goals. We'll use this project to plan the launch of our new product. The goal is to generate 100k in sales in the first year, something like that. So I can just use this area to explain a little bit more about what the project is about. I can also add different project members here. So I might choose to add, let's say, Warwick on the team, and I can choose what kind of access and permission I want to give him. And so because this project is private, only Warwick and I can see this project and the tasks in the project right now. The other members of my team, so this project is in the full-minded team here, other members of this team cannot see this project right now. Down here we can choose to link this project to various goals. I'm not going to be talking about that in this video, but I do have very detailed training on how to use goals in my Master Asana program. Click the link in the description to learn more about that. But I can add key resources down here. So I can either create a more detailed project brief if I want to expand on the description and write more details of what the project is about. I can also add links and files in here if there are various documents that support this project that my team need access to. Once I'm happy with the details on the overview page, I'm going to go back to my list view. And the first thing I recommend doing is creating some sections which we will use to organize the tasks into different stages or phases. And how you use sections will vary depending on the type of project that you are creating. So for something like this, new product launch, I might have sections for phases where I say phase 1 is about planning. I might have another section for phase 2 production. And then I might do one more section for phase 3 launch. So sections I just use to organize the tasks into different areas. Once I have my sections ready to go, I would then create some milestones. Milestones are sort of like tasks, but they are the more significant, important tasks. Think of them as like the deliverables or major due dates within a project. So I'm going to have a milestone, let's put this into the planning section. So we might have a milestone for product specifications defined. That would be a major milestone, is working out the specs of the product. I might have a couple of milestones down here in production for production testing complete. I might do another one here for production run starting, and then production run complete. And actually, I set these up as tasks, but if I right-click, I can mark as milestones, so I can easily convert them to milestones like this. And then let's do one more in the launch. Let's just say, product launch day. Okay, so those are my milestones. Those are the major deadlines or significant kind of deliverables in the project, and you'll see those appearing on your overview page down in the milestones section. Now, I can actually go through the process of creating tasks for sort of the smaller steps that we need to do to actually complete these various phases and stages of work. So in this planning section, I might have tasks for product design meeting. That might be a task. Design product packaging. I think I'll do another one here for product marketing plan complete. And there we go, I've added a couple more down here in the launch phase for sending emails to our newsletter and posting on social media. I can also, if I click one of these line items, I can open the task here, and I can add subtasks if I want to further break down the task into smaller steps. So I might say Facebook and Instagram, posting on social media. I want to make sure we post on various platforms. Now, arguably, the most important bits of information about the task are what is the task about, but also who's doing it and when is it due. Because if we don't assign the task, if we don't have a date, it's probably not going to get done. So if I click on a task like this one here at the top, I can choose an assignee, and you can only assign a task to one person at a time. This is by design because Asana kind of believes that if you can assign a task to more than one person, each person is going to feel less accountable, like, oh, the other person will do it, and so there's less ownership of that task. So Asana does force you to pick, somebody on the team to really own that task. And so I can either click here in the column, or I can click in the task details here to assign this to various people on my team. I can also put due dates on my tasks. That could either be a singular due date, if I just need the task to be completed before a specific day, or, in this case here, design product packaging, this is something that might take a few days or a few weeks, so I could actually apply a date range to my task like this. And so now I've got a start and end date. And so I might continue going through my project now and setting up assignees and dates for everything. So my project's coming together pretty nicely now. I've planned my work into different phases. I've identified the major milestones of the project and the tasks that we need to complete. And I've identified who is doing what and when different tasks need to be completed. You can go into further detail with your tasks. In the description you can see I've put some notes so that when I click on this task and I view this, or if this is actually assigned to somebody on my team and they look at the task, they can see the notes, they've got everything they need in one place. I can also attach documents from my computer or from Google Drive to this task. So again, when Warwick in this case sits down to work on the task, he's got the task details in front of him, all the attachments, notes, and we can actually have conversations inside of Asana here as well. So again, he really has everything in one place in order to make progress on this particular task. Now, just to show you the couple of other views that we have access to. So this is the list view that I mentioned before. If I go to my board layout, you can see my sections just turn into columns, and I can see my tasks vertically here. I personally really like the timeline view, and if I zoom out a little bit here, I can see very visually when different tasks start and finish. I can see my milestones with these green lines down the screen here. And a feature that I really like on the timeline is that I can actually link tasks and create what are called dependencies. So if I hover my mouse on this task and grab this little blue dot, I can drag this onto a task, and you see this little arrow here, this has created what's called a dependency. So now, this is telling me that I can't start on this task because it is blocked by this previous task that Warwick needs to do. And Warwick can see that his task is blocking my task. So it really helps to establish in the pieces. I've identified the major milestones of the project and the tasks that we need to complete. And I've identified who is doing what and when different tasks need to be completed. You can go into further detail with your tasks. In the description you can see I've put some notes so that when I click on this task and I view this, or if this is actually assigned to somebody on my team and they look at the task, they can see the notes, they've got everything they need in one place. I can also attach documents from my computer or from Google Drive to this task. So again, when Warwick in this case sits down to work on the task, he's got the task details in front of him, all the attachments, notes, and we can actually have conversations inside of Asana.